Imagine living in a time when your neighbor, your coworker, or even your family member could be a spy. Not for another country, but for an ideology. A time when fear gripped the nation, and a single accusation could destroy your life. This was America during the Red Scare, a period when paranoia about communism tore through the fabric of American society. Welcome back to the channel, history enthusiasts. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most turbulent and controversial periods in American history, the Red Scare. This was not just a single event but a recurring phenomenon that influenced politics, culture, and the lives of ordinary people. So, let's explore how fear of communism led to witch hunts, ruined careers, and even shaped the Cold War. To understand the Red Scare, we have to go back to the end of World War I. The year was 1917, and something monumental had just happened on the other side of the world, the Russian Revolution. The Bolsheviks, a radical socialist group, overthrew the Russian government and established a communist state. This sent shockwaves across the globe, particularly in the United States, where capitalism and democracy were the cornerstones of society. The idea that a group of revolutionaries could topple a government and establish a system where the state controlled all property and wealth was terrifying to many Americans. Fear of this new ideology began to spread. The US government and many citizens were worried that communism might take root here. This fear intensified in the aftermath of World War I, as labor strikes and social unrest made some people believe that a communist revolution could be imminent in the United States. By 1919, the fear of communism, also known as the Red Scare, began to manifest in serious ways. The government started targeting anyone suspected of holding radical views. This was the first Red Scare, a period of intense anti-communist sentiment that would set the stage for even more paranoia decades later. The first Red Scare primarily took place between 1919 and 1920. This was a time of widespread labor strikes and social upheaval. The fear of communism intertwined with a fear of anarchism, as bombings by anarchists caused panic in cities across the country. On June 2, 1919, bombs exploded in 8 American cities, including Washington, D.C., where a bomb damaged the home of Attorney General A. Mitchell Palmer. This event fueled fears that radicals were plotting to overthrow the U.S. government. Palmer responded by launching what became known as the Palmer Raids. These were a series of raids conducted by the U.S. Department of Justice aimed at capturing, arresting, and deporting radical leftists, especially anarchists and communists. Thousands of people were arrested, many without proper warrants or legal procedures. These raids marked a significant overreach of government power, and while they succeeded in curbing the immediate threat, they also trampled on civil liberties. This set a dangerous precedent for how fear could justify the suspension of rights. The first Red Scare eventually fizzled out by the early 1920s, but the seeds of fear had been planted. This fear would resurface and reach even more dramatic heights after World War II. Fast forward to the late 1940s. World War II had ended, but a new conflict was brewing, the Cold War. The Soviet Union, now a global superpower, was spreading its influence across Eastern Europe and beyond. Meanwhile, in the United States, the fear of communism was reignited, leading to what is known as the Second Red Scare. This period is most closely associated with Senator Joseph McCarthy, a man who became synonymous with the reckless and often unfounded accusations of communism that defined the era. In 1950, McCarthy claimed that he had a list of communists who had infiltrated the U.S. government. Although he never provided solid evidence, his accusations sparked widespread hysteria. People were terrified that communists were lurking in every corner of American society, from Hollywood to the highest levels of government. The entertainment industry was particularly hard hit. The House Un-American Activities Committee, or HUAC, began investigating Hollywood for communist ties. The result? The blacklisting of the Hollywood 10, a group of writers and directors who refused to testify before Congress. Careers were destroyed, and the fear of being associated with communism led to self-censorship and a stifling of creativity. But McCarthyism wasn't just limited to Hollywood. Across the country, people were accused, fired from their jobs, and socially ostracized based on little more than suspicion. The FBI, under J. Edgar Hoover, conducted secret investigations, and the government even pressured people to name names, turning friends against each other in a modern-day witch hunt. Eventually, McCarthy's influence began to wane. In 1954, during the Army McCarthy hearings, his aggressive tactics and baseless accusations were publicly exposed, leading to his censure by the Senate. This marked the decline of McCarthyism, but the damage had been done. The Red Scare had left a lasting scar on American society, demonstrating the dangers of allowing fear to override reason and justice. The Red Scare had profound and far-reaching effects on American society. It wasn't just about the immediate fear of communism, it was about the culture of suspicion that it created. People were afraid to speak out, to express their opinions, or to associate with certain groups. This fear stifled political discourse and led to a conformist culture where deviation from the norm was seen as dangerous. The Cold War itself was shaped by this fear. The US government's aggressive stance against communism influenced its foreign policy decisions, leading to conflicts in Korea, Vietnam, and other parts of the world. At home, the fear of nuclear war and communist infiltration became a constant undercurrent in everyday life, influencing everything from school drills to popular culture. Even today, the legacy of the Red Scare can be felt. The term, McCarthyism, is still used to describe baseless accusations and the practice of guilt by association. The era serves as a powerful reminder of how fear can be manipulated by those in power and how important it is to protect civil liberties even in times of crisis. As we reflect on the Red Scare, it's important to remember the lessons it teaches us. Fear is a powerful emotion, but when it's allowed to dictate policy and override the principles of justice and fairness, it can lead to devastating consequences. The Red Scare is a cautionary tale about the dangers of mass hysteria, government overreach, and the erosion of civil liberties. So, the next time you hear about someone being labeled as un-American, or when you see fear being used as a tool to divide and control, think back to the Red Scare. Let's learn from history and ensure that we never let fear undermine the values that define us as a society. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more deep dives into the past. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning.